Welcome, Seids, to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I've been wanting to do this with you for a long time. We both live in Vegas.
Yes.
So very convenient. And also, we're both in the same kind of world when it comes to music production content. I know I kind of veer off in different directions with my music and stuff, but you've always been such a huge presence and staple in the community, which is awesome. And I want to talk all about it today. But I first want to start by giving you this Girls Don't Produce sweatshirt.
Yay!
Just kidding. It's Girls Do Produce. You
I love
clearly are a testament to that. And it has like a little microphone on the back.
Super cute. Thank you so much.
So this is for you.
I love it.
You just throw it to the side for now. So you could rock that.
This will be great for Vegas summer. It's cold inside though.
It does. It does.
People are
and
bumping
then
the
winter time it gets cold too.
True.
You just throw it on the floor.
Okay.
All right. So why don't we just start by you introducing yourself?
Okay, I am Seids. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, content creator, educator. I kind of now don myself as a full-time music creator. So
yeah.
Because I don't like
your
to
main
fit. Yeah.
gig.
I don't fit in like one box. I feel like
course.
it's kind of like a well-rounded thing now.
Yes, of course. And I can relate to that, not fitting in a box.
Yeah.
And it could be a blessing and a curse because I feel like a lot of people have a hard time following that or understanding it. But hey, we're not here to be understood.
Yeah, but actually it's good because I tell everyone that they should think like an entrepreneur, and you've done that so well.
Yes.
And I try to do that, and
You
I
do.
feel like we both try to tell everyone, you know, this is the way to do it.
Well, we paved a new path.
Definitely.
I feel like. And I do have to say, you were definitely one of the first women music producers that I noticed online. So that's kind of cool because you were really right on the front lines when it comes to like making content as a woman. I'm not saying that music production content just started during the pandemic, but you definitely paved a way for yourself. And I feel like the two of us showed other people like how they can create a business in music that looked a little bit different than what everyone was used to.
And you actually inspired me to start making content. I'm not even kidding. I remember.
That's awesome.
Because what I liked about you is so many people in the industry, if they would succeed, they wouldn't tell you how they succeeded. They would just be like, well, I did this and I'm cool and I'm better than you.
The gatekeepers.
And then one of the first videos I saw of you, you were actually duetting another girl who's like, where are my female producers at? And you're like, that's me. And then that really inspired me. I was like, oh, maybe I can start making content too.
Hell yeah. That is awesome. See?
Yeah.
It's like you never know who's watching.
Exactly.
And who you're inspiring.
Yeah.
So
100%.
that is awesome. And I'm honored to be a part of that for you. And you obviously inspire me a lot too. And that's why you're here today.
Thank you.
So I would love to dig a little bit more into your story. Mm-hmm. So start from the beginning. Like, how did you become Seids?
Yeah. So, well, my artist name was because my last name is Seidman, and then one of my friends would just like give me a nickname. You know how nicknames are. Like so I was like, I don't want to be Sabrina. There's so many Sabrinas. Yeah. So I was like, what can I do that's kind of like edgy?
Yeah.
And I was like, Seids.
Hey, I just added an R to my name, so real edgy.
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
We got to get creative here.
No, that's okay. No, it's cute. I love it.
Yeah.
It
So
works.
when I graduated Berkeley, and when I graduated Berkeley, I was like, how the F am I going to make money as a singer? You know?
That's always the question.
Yeah. I was like, they did not teach me that part at all.
Yeah.
So luckily I got a job straight out of school singing on cruise ships.
Awesome.
And it was like one of those things where it was like, oh my God, I'm a full-time singer.
Yeah.
Traveling the world.
Yeah.
Next stop, Grammys.
Hell yeah.
That did not happen as planned.
Okay.
Next stop being broke in New York City. Struggling.
Can I just say real quick that I feel like that's a universal experience that everybody who wants to do music for a living, they're like, yeah, I'm winning a Grammy.
Yeah.
And hey, like I still like to think that I'm going to win a Grammy one day.
You will.
And I will. Who knows? I'm not going to put any expectation on it, but I love that. So broken in New York.
Yeah. So then I was broke in New York and I was struggling so much. I was lucky because I made a bunch of money on the cruise ship.
Yeah.
from doing that because I didn't have to pay room and board. So I walked off the ship with 30 grand.
Hell yeah.
And I spent it all in 6 months. 2-0. On producers, on outfits, on PR, all the things that I thought I needed, but I had no idea what I was doing. Most of the songs I made with producers, I never even released because I didn't know how. I didn't know what to do. I was just like
Tell me about
literally spamming blog writers, being like, hey, I'm Seids. Can you put my song on your blog?
But that used to be the way, though. Blogs were such a huge part of the music industry. So, you know, even 10 years ago, when I started making music in college, I was doing the same exact thing.
Yeah. So and I didn't realize, like, oh, no, you have to, like, get fans.
Yeah. That part.
Yeah. You have to find people that actually like what you're doing or have them find you.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I have $0 now. I need to make some money. So I went back into trying to just make it as a singer, kind of. And I was singing in cover bands. I was singing in wedding bands. They were pretty successful bands.
Hey, wedding bands make a lot of money.
Yeah, they make a lot of money. And you only have to work Saturdays.
Yeah.
But I always had to have a part-time job because I was living in New York City. So I was like bartending or selling eyeglasses. I was selling gym memberships for a while at Equinox, which was a good job because I learned sales. And that's really important.
Oh my God, yeah. That's like the root of everything that you do now.
But the whole time I was always still singing gigs and I really wanted to be the boss. I always had that like entrepreneur like chip in me. Yeah. So it's like, okay, what can I do? So I built a show for cruise ships to go back on cruise ships, but we were going to be guest entertainers, which is a much better gig than just singing in the house band.
Yeah.
You get like guest status. You only have to work like 2 shows a week. And I was like, amazing. So I worked so hard on these 2 shows. I spent so much money on costumes and sheet music and backing tracks. And our first gig was May 2020.
Oh no, COVID. Oh my God.
So I failed again. And this time I turned 30. So I felt like such a loser. I
understand.
Yeah, I was so depressed the beginning of COVID. And then I got served a Facebook ad, learn how to produce in 30 days. I was like, this is so dumb. Like, I'm not going to learn how to produce. But I clicked on it and it was on sale. So I said, you know what? Let me just buy this $75 course. And it changed my life. I don't know about you, but for me, once I learned how to program in drums, I was like, I can do this. Yeah. For some reason, I thought drums was like the equivalent to rocket science.
Hey, listen, I can't even really produce drums. I feel like I'm still a noob when it comes to like actual music production, but I can kill a vocal production.
Yeah.
Like vocal producing is definitely my forte.
I think you can produce drums.
I think you
just need a little more confidence.
I do live with a producer that is, you know, pretty well known. So
yeah.
So I do have his guidance, and honestly, Reed has been such a blessing in my life because he was the one who encouraged me to start producing and recording myself. Yeah. Because I was tired of relying on other people and also having to pay other people to get anything done.
Yeah, and this is what I tell other producers. I was like, if you want to, you know, change the way the community is, like make it more inviting. Yeah. All you have to do is be like, hey, you have a really good ear. Do you want to learn how to do this? Yeah. Instead of acting like this is like a secret language that only these, and that's why like it's been my mission to make music production more accessible to more people.
And you have done that.
I've tried.
You have done. Thank you. All right, both of us need a confidence boost.
But
no, you really have done that.
Yeah, because I felt like when I walked off the ship, or even when I was on the ship, had I known how to produce, I would have been able to write so many more songs. I would have been able to use my resources in different ways, and it would have been like a game-changing thing for me.
But you had to go through all of those experiences.
I had to go through all of it. Yeah.
And I can relate in a lot of ways because I haven't really talked much about what I've been through in terms of wasting money on useless endeavors and
there's so many people that take advantage.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I do talk about this part. The manipulation and the narcissism and the obstacles that you have to face when it comes to building a music career is really daunting, and it can completely spiral you into deep depressions and cause anxiety. And I've been there, I've done that. Yes. And that's exactly what led me here today, being independent and doing pretty much everything on my own. Like I do collaborate, I do pop out, obviously. But I keep to myself most of the time. I'm a lone wolf.
Yeah, I mean, me too. Every single time not every single time, but it's difficult because it's almost like dating. You know, you have to find that right person on the same wavelength that has the same work ethic as you and knows when to cheer you on and knows when to give you the tough love.
Of course.
And it's tricky, you know?
Yeah.
And I do think there is something to be said about learning how to do everything, at least like the bare minimum.
Yes.
So you know who to hire or who to work with and who can add on to your business and who you can just be like, you're awesome, but we are not compatible.
Oh, totally. And I've recently gone through that with people, and it's not like I can't let those moments and those situations completely hinder me and throw me off course. I just need to learn from those mistakes.
Yes.
And they're not necessarily mistakes. Like when I think back to all of the music video productions that I've invested money in, it was a lot of work and a lot of money invested in those things and all this equipment and all that. It was, to me, worth it because I learned so much.
Yeah.
And there are so many skill sets that you don't realize that you need to run a business in music. And that's like one thing I really want to highlight. It's a business.
It is a business.
You cannot be up in like fairy tale land thinking that you're going to make money on music, because there is no money in music with streaming.
For like, why do people think that Ariana Grande, Lady Gaga, Selena Gomez, all those women have makeup lines?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why are they doing that?
Exactly. And that's why I have I'mKarra.com, where I sell vocal samples and templates, and I have my own little e-commerce business so that I can actually support myself, because at the end of the day, it is about money, because you need money to support yourself.
Yeah, you have to get creative. And I always tell people, you know, being good is the bare minimum.
Yes.
That's like the entry ticket. Then you also have to learn how to market yourself, and you have to learn how to sell. Like you need products. So it's like 3-part system.
Yeah, and you have some products too.
Yeah, I have some products.
Yeah,
so
tell me
I have my Logic Pro crash course, which is basically like a Cliff Notes, for anyone who knows what Cliff Notes is, but an abbreviation of the 1,000-page guides of all my favorite tips and tricks. Like I wish every software had something like this, so I can just like watch a 45-minute thing or have an ebook of all of the tips, like no fluff, not even just the beginner stuff, like the hot tips.
Yeah.
So
and that's helpful for even people that have been producing for a while.
100%.
To maybe just like reinforce things.
Yeah, because those people don't want to sit through a 9-hour tutorial on how to use Logic Pro when they have, you know, Grammys or whatever. Right. They're like doing this full time. They don't want to.
And these programs are always updating.
Yeah.
And changing.
Exactly. And I give everybody free updates. So whenever they buy this book and there's a new update with Logic Pro, which just happened, I update the book and I send it out to everyone.
That's beautiful.
I feel like it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing. I do the same thing when a template updates, like for Pro Tools Ableton, I, update, send that out. And to me, it makes me feel good to like give back to the community.
100%. Like if you support me, I want to support you as much as I can.
I make everything, like the pricing, really affordable so that beginners and people that, don't have a bunch of money to spend can actually learn something and find something useful, from me. Because when I see celebrities like selling these tickets to their shows for thousands of dollars and these makeup products for, I just can't relate to that.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather sell more for a cheaper price.
Me too.
Than the other way around. If my course is valued at like $1,000, I'll like divide it by 10.
Yeah.
Because I want to like 10x my value. I don't like it when people complain about my stuff. So if I make it so it's like impossible for you to complain, then great.
I mean, you can't get away from the complaints. And that, like, even when people buy, my stuff, I do get people that want refunds, and that's just a natural part of running a business. Yeah. So, and it's an interesting part because customer service is is a whole other part of the business that people don't see.
Yeah. And I try to be like really good with it. And it's just me, so I hope people are patient with me. But anytime I get an email or someone, I try to respond as soon as possible. I can't respond to my DMs anymore.
Oh, no, me either.
I'm just over. So I'm like, if you need me, you can email me.
100%. And I think the people that really are professional and will get that.
Yeah, they'll get that. And if they don't, then like, I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
Kind of thing. Or you can do, like, you can fill out my contact on my website. Like, that's awesome. Those are the ways to reach me. But I feel like after a while, that's going to get hard too. Well, then I'll have to hire someone.
Yeah, absolutely. And
if I can.
I know. I mean, hey, I've tried hiring people.
It's hard.
And it's really hard because everybody has their own dreams and goals. And so you have somebody for a couple months and it's great. And then they're off doing their own thing, which I totally get.
Yes.
But also it's really expensive hiring people.
I really find that like that saying good help is hard to find. It's so true. And I never understood that until I became like a business owner. Yeah. And now I'm like, oh, this is why my bosses loved me, because I was always like such a good worker.
Same. I could tell we have a lot of similarities in our personality. Like, it's scary. No, it's a testament to why we are so successful. It just is what it is. We're hard workers. We both aren't afraid to see a problem and present a solution.
Yeah.
We give back to the community.
Yeah.
While we live our dreams.
Well, I feel like we were we were the community, you know, and like we've been knocked down and got back up again. Not even because we wanted to, but because we had to. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, if you want to do this, like it has to be
sink or swim.
I wanted to quit so many times.
Yeah, me too.
And I just couldn't. I always just like found myself back into this.
How did you get out of that? Like, what got you out of?
Well, actually, so I did the Equinox sales job while I was still singing. And I was like, I'm not going to sing gigs forever. Like, I don't want to be one of those like 60-year-old, and no offense, no shame to anyone that does that.
Yeah.
That's just not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be singing like Don't Stop Believing in a cover band.
Understandable.
And so I was like, all right, I am like a sales shark. Like I can sell anybody anything. So I was like, all right, let me go into sales. So I got a corporate sales job and I had a full on identity crisis. I was like, this is not me. It was a weird feeling. It wasn't depression. It was a different feeling I had never felt before. So I just found myself in music again. And I was like, no matter what, I'm going to be in the music umbrella. That's where I belong. That's where, I mean, my mom said that I was like singing before I was talking. Yeah. Like, that's me.
Same. Yeah, I can relate to the identity crisis because I feel like I have one every 6 months. So it's fine. No, but I feel like it's important to talk about that because it's a natural part of life and evolution. And for someone like me, you know, I can speak for myself. I change very quickly. And so if I accomplish something, I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah, pivot. I'm like a pivoting queen also.
Yeah, I'm pivoting like crazy. Yeah. And I noticed that in you as well. And I think there's a lot of like strength and I don't know. It just keeps things fun.
Yeah. Well, I've just never been like like somebody that can like cruise at what I'm doing, you know? And this is funny that I said it that way because there are people that I worked with on the cruise ship 10 years ago that are still doing that. And that's fine. That's a great gig for them. But for me, I'm the same way. I'm like, all right, I did. And that's why I always tell people enjoy the process because the finish line lasts like a whole 10 seconds.
Yes.
And you think you'll reach a certain point and you'll like your younger self would be like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. But me now, I'm like, no, we gotta get to the next spot and the next spot and the next spot.
And I also had to reel myself in because I was finding myself to be a little depressed and anxious because I always saw that gap of like where I was and where I wanted to be. And I really had to surrender to the process and just like you said, enjoy the process.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
And if you're not enjoying it, then you're not doing the right thing.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what I learned when for a long time I used to think I really want to be an artist, and I had to do this really heavy soul searching and realize no, I don't actually want to be an artist. I want to create, and for me, just being able to create, which is why I love working with music tech companies, because if I do a video for autotune, let's say, I get to use my music that I created in the video and I get paid, and I'm like, okay, I found the loophole. But if I wanted to be an artist, I would be really disappointed because people think that, oh, just because I have all these followers, I'll release a song and everyone will listen to my song. But no, like they're following me for something different. They're not following me for my music. Like,
yes,
I can't expect like somebody that likes my Logic Pro Tip who does metal music and likes metal music to like my little indie pop song.
Totally. And that's the struggle that I'm having right now after putting out my album, because for me, I've also done the soul searching, and I am 100% an artist.
Yes.
Like, I truly see myself on stage performing at Coachella.
Yeah.
Like doing those things.
And it's important that you took that time to be like, no, I need to,
I have to
check
pivot.
myself.
Yeah.
And you have to have those conversations often.
Yes, because it changes. And then also another thing I've experienced is that other people's opinions that could sometimes like get to your head. And so I've been on a lot of like winding roads and detours just because other people saw a different vision for myself.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to cut out the noise too.
You have to cut out the noise, and you have to know what to say no to.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've been doing really good at that lately. Because like someone will offer you an X amount of dollars and you'll be like, it's like PTSD. Like we have to say yes because we've been broke, you know?
Yes.
And you're like, I want to say yes, but like I can't. And I'm trying to get better at saying no to things too that aren't on my trajectory. And it's hard.
It's really hard because I definitely, I'm like, oh, the money though. But I'm really trying to be an artist, and this isn't aligned with that. So, and I still do brand deals. That's not ever going to change because I actually really enjoy doing brand deals, especially when it's like a microphone or an interface or something that actually I use every day.
100%
to make music.
Because you're still making music.
Yeah.
But you can be more picky about what kind of content you do 100%. For them.
Yeah. And I've been focusing more on my YouTube channel lately too.
Oh, good.
Which is a totally different thing. Yeah. Talk about your actually, I would love to just get like an overall like brief, like you're on all the socials. What's like your biggest platform? Talk about what's your favorite.
It's so interesting because I started on TikTok, and when I started on TikTok, like it grew really fast. It was at the time where like TikTok was still.
They were handing views out like candy.
Yeah,
like I was also getting that wave, but now my TikTok is like completely flatlined.
We were posting before there were celebrities on there, before there were ads, before there was TikTok Shop. It's just a completely different app now, and I've noticed that like so I like immediately when I was growing on TikTok, I was like, all right, let me good on Instagram too, just
of course,
in case something happens. And then I also got lucky on the Instagram push.
Yeah, you're doing great on Instagram.
Yeah, because like I caught it at the right algorithm time, but I'm feeling that it's changing. So now I'm like, I better get my butt on YouTube before it's too late.
No, I can totally relate because I've had the same exact experience.
Yeah.
So
and Threads too. Have you been on Threads?
A little bit, yeah.
It's a good one.
I'm trying to build it up, and it's just like there's just so much.
Well, literally, all you should do is like go back to your like viral videos that did well, and then just literally transcribe it and put it in Threads.
Okay,
like that's what I've been doing.
Thanks.
It's been working really well.
Listen,
like you don't have to. I'm like the reposting queen or recycling. Yes. I always recycle and repost, and it helps a lot.
You know, I also did that back in the day, and I feel like I need to go through and just update some of the visuals but repost the same
I mean
message.
I'll just re-record like the same exact video word for word and it will do well again.
That's great.
So I'm like,
that's a great tip actually, because I think it can get really overwhelming having to always think of a new idea, and people don't realize that they actually can recycle their ideas.
100%. And content, you know, I feel like you would relate to this because you're also a singer, but you know when you took like vocal lessons and they would like move your mouth just like a little bit and it would make the sound so much better. And that's the same with content, right? If you have a video that did well, I don't know what it is about that video, but like the way you said it and the pacing or whatever. So if it did well and you nailed it, it will do well again.
100%.
It's like the formula. So why not reuse that formula as many times as possible?
That's brilliant. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because Reed and I have the same experience, and actually it's a great reminder for maybe I should do that because I haven't done that in a while. But talk about your YouTube channel. Like, what are your plans for that?
My YouTube channel, you know, YouTube is hard. At least it's been hard for me.
Long form content just requires a lot more effort, a lot more time.
Yes.
And it is what it is. But I have to say, I'm so grateful that I did spend that time on YouTube because it's my biggest platform and I make the most money.
Yeah,
off
it pays
of
the best.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's funny. I haven't been as consistent with it as I would have liked to over the years, but there was moments where I was like consistent. And sometimes when I'm troubleshooting, I'll Google like how to do it and my video will pop up. From like 2 years ago. And I'm like, okay, this is why YouTube is going to always be content king, because if you make a video, whatever, however long ago, it'll still like get views.
My old videos are still climbing.
100%. So I'm investing more time into that. I'm working on like different series and stuff. And I'm also really investing into my mailing list. I always am trying to like funnel more people into that. And that's been super helpful.
Yeah.
And I've become like more interested in like email marketing. And I've been trying to like do that because sometimes I'll make like pretty good money just from my like email blast.
100%. I have been collecting emails for a couple years now, and I don't do it as often. Like, I don't want to bother people, really.
I know. And that's how I used to feel. I don't email people every day, but I'll try to email like a few times a week. The thing is that people don't see every email you send.
Yeah, of course.
I'm trying to find a fine line because I've been getting really into like marketing lately. Like I've been like reading books, and I'm not doing this just to make money. Like if I wanted to just make money, I would have done like pharmaceutical sales or something.
Right.
So I want it, but I also, it's like a balancing game. Like how much money can I make / how can I do this the right way and still stay true to myself and true to my people?
It also with good intentions, because I feel like I can sense this energy off you too. Like you're not somebody that wants to scam people.
No, I would hate to feel that way. And I've been scammed before. And like, there's no shame if people do this because I understand like people need to make money, but I hate when people charge people to review songs or like, like they have to pay to play because, or anything where they're like paying to play or anything where you're like selling a dream and the dream isn't actually like something legit. I understand why courses get a lot of hate because there are some really bad courses out there.
Yeah,
and I used to declare I would never do a course. I was only going to do live classes because I thought courses were so lame.
Yeah.
But people want courses.
Yes.
And they're always asking me like, can you do this? Can you do that? And you want to give your people what they want. And also, a course changed my life.
Right.
So there, you know, it's kind of like a balancing thing. And there is always like a dance you have to play, I think.
Definitely.
But I think it's important to do it because I also want to show people like what's possible.
Yeah.
And I try to make my emails at least something informative.
Yeah.
Or something like a free class. Here's a free class, come to it. And then they want to see that. Or here's a sale I'm running and they're like, of course they want to know about that.
Yeah. I'm constantly running sales on my website because
it's the best way to push product.
Yeah.
I always,
truly.
like that's my secret. Like whatever the ticket price is, I don't usually
knock it down.
Yeah, I always knock it down. I do a sale once a month. Just like whenever, like spring sale, yes. Memorial Day, yes. Like
every
everything
holiday
you can think of, yes.
And I honestly, I get it because I really only buy things when they're on sale too. 100%. So it's psychology.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And you do if you want to be in the music business, you do need to understand human psychology, and you want to target certain behaviors in people.
Exactly. I mean, it's just sales like one-on-one is like having a time limit that people need to buy it right then.
Giving people a little bit of pressure to be like, oh, you got to get this deal. Yeah, 100%. I get it. So Logic is your main DAW.
Yes.
Or it's the only DAW, right?
I mean,
you talk about?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I do some work with BandLab, which I like because Logic can only be on a Mac computer.
Right.
Which is like obviously a genius marketing.
Which, by the way, we met for the first time at the Apple event for Logic for iPad.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That was a year ago.
I know.
So that was when we met in person for the first time. And it was so funny because I've only like dabbled with like Logic videos every once in a while. And I was like, I feel like an imposter here, but it was really cool to be there and to be included in that.
Yeah.
But you are truly the Logic queen.
I mean, people call me that, which is so funny.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I'm just like a vessel or like I like read the scroll. I'm like, here, Logic people.
Yeah, but that's so helpful because there are so many things to learn and read about, and it's so nice to have somebody break it down.
I mean, that's kind of where I really learned marketing, because once I started posting on TikTok, I decided I want to work with music tech companies and particularly Apple. Like that was my goal. So then I was like, okay, what can I do to get their attention? And that's where the whole Logic tips came in. Beautiful. And I was like, I want them to come to me. And they were the first company that did, like right away.
Can I just say that there is such, I do this too. I don't reach out to companies.
Oh, no.
And I never reach out to people. I let them come to me.
Yeah. I really believe in the attract, don't chase.
Yes.
And like with marketing, because I believe marketing in music should be viewed as like how your fan or client finds you.
Yes.
Like they want to find you. So that's why I love social media, because if you put out the right bait for the right fish, they're going to come to you. And they all have. And there has been times where I did reach out to brands because I wanted their product and I still get rejected.
Yeah. You know what? I get rejected all the time.
That's why I hate outreach, because I'm like, you get rejected all the time.
Well, I've experienced the most rejection when I was like full-time songwriting and top lining and doing the whole like LA session thing. Like every day was rejection. But the brand sponsorships and content creation, I'm in control.
Yes.
And I can make my own decisions. And even though I don't have control over what brands reach out to me, I at least know that a brand will eventually reach out and I will eventually make money. When I was doing music full time, I had no stability whatsoever. So I feel like we found, like you said, just like a space in the industry.
Yeah. And that's why, so like people have been asking me, how do you do this? How do you do this? So I'm making a whole new course on how to work with music tech companies.
Beautiful.
So people can really do this as even like a part-time job or like a side job. And I love that. It's such a great job.
It is.
I love it. You get free gear.
Yeah.
You get to try things that you've always wanted to try, and you get to use your own music, and you can just make a video. And they need people right now.
Even though there's more and more tutorials popping up, I feel like I honestly, I have to be honest, there are so many people making tutorials now that I do feel like it's a little less special than what it used to be. But I feel like that's just like a natural progression of anything when it catches on.
I think it's whack when they like copy other people, you know? Like when someone's like, here's a cool Logic Pro tip, like and follow more tips like this. I'm like, that's great. You might get like comments, follows, views, but like Apple already knows me and they know, they know my content. So at least make it your own. Be like, I've been producing in Logic for 20 years. I wish I knew this sooner.
Yes.
Just, it's not that hard to just like put your own spin on it and make it your own. And then I think it would be less, it wouldn't be that feeling of like, oh, this is less special, because they're not just carbon copies of the people that are coming up with their own content ideas.
No, okay, let's talk about this for a second, because I do understand drawing inspiration from people. We are influencers. People are going to copy us. They're going to find inspiration in what we do and make it their own. And you know what? It's part of it. And honestly, I'm flattered.
Yeah, I don't get offended. I just feel bad for them almost, because I'm like, you're spending this time making this content probably in the hopes to work with companies.
Right.
But why would they work with you when they can work with the source?
The OG.
Yeah, like of that content. There's been so many cool people that have come up with really unique stuff. Like one of my favorite content creators in the space now, I might be pronouncing their name wrong, but it's like Jabri. I don't know if you've seen his content. It's incredible.
I don't think so.
Like it's like
I'm not really on my social media.
I love to just like see what's going on. And like he makes like this incredible content, and I'm like such a fan. Yeah. And I'm like, make your favorite content creators your fan. Yes. You know, like that's all you have to do. Yeah. And all you need to do to like stand out and not get lost in the sauce is truly and honestly be yourself.
Yes.
Like I'm 100% me, you know, like I look the same as I am in my content. I act the same. This is who you get. Like it or not, it's me.
Just make it your own. Like there's a finite amount of things that you can do in this space. And so I get that part of it, but make it your own. Be yourself. It does require a lot of effort.
Trial and error.
You gotta show up every day. You gotta experiment, trial and error. But eventually, you will get there. Like
when you land on something, it will hit.
Yeah. So, what are some tips for people that want to do what you do?
Have a strategy. Like my strategy was from the jump. What do I want to do? I want to work with music tech companies, particularly Apple. Okay, then you say, what's your mission? I think having a mission statement is really important. It will help you get through the why. It'll help you get through all the haters.
Yeah. Our beloved haters.
Which, by the way, I really need to thank, when I met you guys at the Apple event, I really need to thank Reed, because he said one thing that helped me so much. Because I was asking everyone, I was really struggling with haters at that moment. Really, really, I would get death threats. It was tough.
Which is totally unacceptable. If you are somebody who gives people death threats over content.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Please check yourself.
Yeah, so I asked Reed, I was asking everyone, I was like, how do you deal with haters? And when I asked him that, he was just like, if you don't have haters, you don't have a successful video. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh my God, because obviously we want visibility. Yeah. And with visibility is going to come new love and new hate. Yeah. Because if it just showed it to our fans, we wouldn't get those.
It's the law of polarity.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important to talk about this, because polarity really is something that you need to have within your business for it to be successful. If you just have yes men around you, if you just have people who love you, you're not going to actually reach new levels of success.
Yes. And that's why the mission statement is so important, because my mission statement is to make music production and entrepreneurship more accessible to more people. So when I post an AI tool, I get a lot of hate, but ultimately AI, ethical AI, is going to make music production and music business more accessible to more people. Yes. So that makes sense for my brand. And they can hate on me all they want, but
connection is good.
That's what it is. That's why I love Logic, because it is very user friendly. And that's why I love their new update, because they have these tools so people can just make music, not even necessarily people that want to be pros. Just make music.
Well, I just got the chills, because I love that you have a mission statement and you stick to it and you live, eat, breathe that. And I think that's really cool. And it makes so much more sense for me. When I do see your content, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And your mission statement can't just be something fluffy that you like. It has to be something truly meaningful to you, something that you would have wanted to have 10 years ago. And if little Sabrina, who walked off the cruise ship, had these tools or this knowledge 10 years ago, that would have changed her life. So that's why that's your mission. So when you do that soul searching, you make that mission, that's going to make your content unique. That's going to connect you to the right people. That's how you're going to get those true diehard fans that will literally buy anything from you,
Yeah. So, and the growth that you've had over the years is just amazing.
Thank you.
And I think it's really just a testament for the dedication, the hard work, the paving a path, and not being afraid to be the leader of that path for yourself, because it gets lonely.
It does.
And when you look to the left and the right, you don't see anyone else doing what you're doing, and it can make you feel insecure at times. And I experienced this myself, and I'm just oh my God, what am I doing? Am I too different to get to the levels that I want to get at? And no, I have to keep reminding myself, I'm no, you were blessed with these specific skill sets for a reason, and you just have to own it.
Yeah, definitely. If you have the strategy, and it's the same way, if you would build a house, you wouldn't do it without a blueprint.
No,
so I've had this strategy, and it's helped me so much, because then step 3 is, okay, who are the people that support your goal? Yeah. And where do they hang out? What do they wear? Where do they shop? Yeah. If you're trying to be an artist, a Boy Genius fan is going to look a lot different than a Kanye West fan.
Yes.
You can't just expect everyone to be your fan. You need to find those, you have to have those fans find you.
Right.
So then you say, okay, how are you going to find them? And that's where if you do social media or networking or outreaching or paid ads, whatever you're going to do. Yeah. And then the last question is, how are they going to support you?
Right.
So if you have this strategy, it's a lot easier to show up every day, because you have
and make
plan.
Progress.
Yeah.
One step at a time.
Yes.
And we were just talking about this. We do everything ourselves.
Yeah.
So it might take a little bit longer for us to, accomplish these things, but like I said, I've watched you over the years, and you have done everything that you said that you're going to do. And so that is you showing up for yourself. And guess what? You are in control of your life, and nobody is going to be as passionate about your life as you are.
Yeah. And
no one's going to come save you.
Do you have, has there been people that have come up to you and been maybe people that are like financially more successful than you are, because it's always like so relative. So now we get in the rooms with these people that are like millionaires from content and like doing really well, and they're like, oh my god, you should do this, you should do this, you should do that. And then like one time I did a podcast with someone, I won't name any names, but they had no idea who I was. And it's because their teammate,
why would you have them?
Because their teammate like put me on the show. They have a whole and they're kind of like lost touch. And I've never wanted to like lose touch of like what I'm doing just to make, just to make money. So it really has been this juggle of like, okay, I know I can make a lot of money really, really fast, but like, is that going to be true to me?
Yeah. And I honestly, I feel the same way, because when I was putting out this album, I wanted to get the major label deal. I wanted to do everything, at the highest level and have the big budgets and all that stuff. And I just like had to let go of that dream. And I actually think like the universe or God, whatever you want to call it, purposely made me do it on my own so that I could, learn all those lessons like the hard way, so that I could teach other people how to do that.
Isn't it crazy how the universe, like I've been really fortunate because the universe has made so many decisions for me.
Yes.
Like COVID, or like, not getting me to go in the girl group. Yeah. Like what I would have made all week on the ship, I make in not even one video.
Incredible.
So it's like, it's so great that like, okay, the universe, and then a lot of times, like even now, like I'll have these ongoing projects with clients and then they'll decide not to do it, and I'll be like kind of bum hurt, but then I'm like, oh my God, the universe is telling me like, you need to focus on your own thing.
Yes. And oh my God, I love that you said that, because me and Reed both had a drought of like no brand sponsorships for like a couple months, like at the start of this year. And so we're like, okay, let's take this time to put out more courses, put out more products. Cause we're juggling a lot. So it's my website and my brand and my music, and then Reed's website. So he has Whole Loops. And so we have to balance between the two of those things every day.
That's so cool. You get to do that together.
Yes. I love it. And I'm so grateful, because whatever skill sets like he doesn't have, I have, and it's like a good balance. And partnership is so important. Yeah. And it's hard to find those partners. It's literally just me and Reed doing everything. Yeah. But I'm so grateful that I have someone like him in my life. And he is just he's just so intelligent, like beyond like this earth. Like he's like outer worldly, and he's always pushing me to think outside of the box. And I think it's nice to have people like that in your life.
For sure. I mean, you really have to surround yourself with those kind of people.
Yeah. And when you're kind of talking about losing touch and making money, I get that, because I'm the same way. I've realized that I don't care if I'm not a big superstar like Nicki Minaj and Rihanna and whoever. All I care about is doing what I love and actually being true to myself. And if that means that I have to do it independently, then I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to do it. That's not going to stop me. If I don't have the support from the business, like the industry, that has never stopped me.
Literally, like there's been so many. It's so interesting to see like how things have changed for my life. But like one thing that's always stayed true to me is that I'm always going to do what I want.
Yeah, me too. I have a hard time.
I have Audacity. You have Audacity.
Oh, we both have Audacity.
I have like an obscene amount of Audacity. Sometimes I'm just kind of like,
that's what it is. Yeah.
Who is this woman inside of me?
But can I just say that is probably the most important quality to a successful entrepreneur, business person, artist. Like you have to have Audacity.
This is a 90% mindset mastery. This industry, just life in general.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to be like, I deserve a seat at the table. Yeah. Even when people don't. You know how many people tell me I'm a bad producer, I make bad music? I'm like, well, you know what?
I'm sure every day.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Like, that's cool or whatever that you say that. I'm still going to make music. I'm still going to post my music. So ultimately, like, cool. Yeah.
I have people say the same things to me, and I'm just like, you don't even understand. Like, the one thing that gets me, that honestly gets me just like a little bit like pissed off, is honestly the misogyny.
Oh, yeah.
Because like that is something that I know we both experience being women in such a male dominated space. But I just have to say, like, I am so glad that there are other women like you in this space that are just like breaking down those barriers.
And things have gotten like significantly better, at least for me.
Yes.
Like the things that I used to have to deal with like 10 years ago is just like wild. And I'm always asking myself, like, did things change, or do people just like me more because I have like a platform? So I'm always like,
you know, it happens.
But it's like, it's been like wild.
Yeah, I know. And
then the gaslighting, because then you'll like tell people what happened and they're like, no, that didn't happen. Like literally, I just posted a thing on my page being like, why do people comment on my looks? Like I don't do anything in my videos.
You especially
to ask for it. Like I only post music production and music business tips. So like what, and I don't even mean good or bad. I just mean why must you, what strikes you to be like, oh my God, your hair looks bad, or your hair looks good. Like why does that why is that a thing? Like our looks are like the least interesting thing about us as creators in general, like boys and girls, you know?
Yeah. I can
And then somebody commented on there, that doesn't happen. Nobody comments on your looks. And I'm like, do I need to make a post on gaslighting now? Like
people love to think that they're experts on your life and what, first of all, you have hundreds of thousands of followers. You get thousands of comments every day. Like you don't think that maybe some other people are commenting the same things? Of course they are. We see it every day because it's our comment section.
Yeah. And of course it's like, those are the comments that are going to like stick out to you more.
Yeah. So I would love to talk about this because when I first started, listen, I naturally just have like a seductive like essence about me, and that's just been who I am. And I like to make sexual music, and I like glam and outfits and like all that stuff. And so I made that a part of my content strategy and the art that I create. So I understand that it triggers people, but hey, I love to trigger people.
You gotta do you know?
But when I look at other content creators like yourself, and, you know, for example, UAD has a lovely woman that, you know, does, I don't know her name, but she does like microphone videos and stuff. And she just wears like very modest clothing, and people are still commenting on her body and her looks, and people comment on mine all the time. And you, so it like, people have to just understand that, like, we understand how people work.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm definitely not gonna lie. I make a point to not dress sexual.
Yeah.
Which might be sad. I don't know. Like, even if I'm like comfortable in like a crop top, I won't wear that. I'll make sure I like put on a big shirt.
But it works for you. And it's like, great. Yeah. If that's what makes you comfortable.
But literally one time I posted like a story of me like at the pool saying like I'll be like, it was like a meme thing. I only post like music production content, so it was still like I'm at the pool because I'm joking like, oh, you think I'll be here this summer, but I'm in my studio, whatever. And so many people were like, this is messed up, like you have a boyfriend, or like, and I'm like, I am at the pool. Like, do you expect me to be in like sweatpants, like at a pool? Like, and it's like,
that's funny.
It gets crazy.
People say that all the time. Like, you have a husband, and I'm like, my husband's filming me. Like, he's secure.
Yeah, he's aware of what is happening
We
here.
know how the world works, guys. Like, it's fine. And honestly, I love that there are different types of women representing themselves in different ways. That's what makes the world go round. Like, not all women have to be like sexualized and whatever. I choose to do that because that is who I am and I like it.
Yeah.
But I respect that you don't do that, and great. It's
like the people are so interesting. Also, what they comment, because I'm also like, do you want to work in this industry? Because you're commenting like you have no shame. Like this one person on this last post I did that I told you about. Yeah. He was like, oh, when I see a male, I'll listen on volume, but when I see a female, I'll turn the volume down, and I'll only want to see if they're hot. And then he goes, but I'm not attracted to you, and I like your tips, so I follow you for your tips. I'm like some thoughts should just remain like in your head, you know?
Okay, that is one takeaway. If you are watching this and you leave ridiculous comments, maybe think twice. Because okay, first of all, I am not afraid to respond to your hate comment. So and you know what's so funny? People get so mad. Like the people that I put on blast, they get so angry that I responded to them, and they're like, "Hey, like, why would you respond to me and like put me on blast like that and make me look bad?" It's like
you posted
that. You did it yourself. Do you not understand that these social platforms have that feature for a reason?
Well, this one guy on TikTok, I think you saw the video. He like made like a 6-minute video creating a whole different narrative of me. Like she's just 21. She graduated from Berkeley like last year.
People have done that to me too.
And I'm like, I do edit it, and I'm like, I'm 30 something.
Yeah,
like, that time I was like,
and
then he was like, you got your goons on me. I was like, I didn't get anyone on. You mean my fans? Like,
yeah, you know what? That every time someone does that, you get power. You get a
those
blessing.
are the kind of things that like when people were making videos about me, those were the kind of things that used to like really affect me more so.
Same.
And but now, thank God that doesn't really happen that much anymore.
Right.
Because TikTok isn't like as big, I guess it was. That was like a thing on TikTok. I'm sure you've had quite a few people like stitch your videos and be like,
people try and debunk like my life story all the time. I'm just like, why would I lie? Like, I understand that there are people out there that lie about their situation, and there's a lot of people that put on a show, but I don't.
I was in the room with a 5-time Grammy nominated.
Like, I don't put on a show for people. Like, what you see is what you get. And that's what I think triggers people the most about me, is that I don't put on a filtered personality.
Yeah.
I don't lie about what I have going on. I don't share absolutely everything in my life because like that's not for everybody to
100%.
know. But like I share the things that I'm comfortable sharing.
I think you've stayed very authentic to who
you
are.
And I think this is good advice for everybody. It's like everybody has darkness inside of them and light inside of them. Like I said, going back to polarity, that yin and yang, right? And so it's when you actually like embrace your shadow self and accept the fact that you are not perfect is when you can like really show up authentically in your life.
Yeah.
Well, I love this conversation because I feel like we touched on the business and real life shit.
Yes, 100%.
That people want to hear about in a podcast. And I appreciate you so much for opening up. And you are so admirable and inspiring, especially to women.
And you too.
Thank you. and it's such an honor to have you here and to like finally have this conversation because it's been long overdue.
Yeah.
And is there any like final words that you want to?
Well, just to keep it in like the women realm.
Yeah.
If someone is being creepy to you, it doesn't matter if they're as successful as Drake or if they're creepy to you from the jump, they're always going to be creepy to you and they will never help your career.
Facts.
So the minute that they are, just leave.
Facts.
Because I've endured stuff that I shouldn't have, thinking like, oh, they're going to help me or they're going to do what they said they're going to do. And they never have.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had those situations.
I need to do an entire podcast of all of the abuse and manipulation and
sometimes it's like really subtle.
Truly.
And that's like the creepiest ones, you know?
Well, people really target women because I feel like they think that they can have this power over them. And I've experienced it many times. And I think, now we're in our 30s and we've experienced so many of these situations that we could spot it. Like that. And so we won't go down those roads again.
Yes.
So I think maybe we should do like a women I don't know. I feel like there's something there that we could like partner on.
Because I just want women to feel comfortable saying no.
Yeah.
And it's so hard because it's in us to be accommodating. It's in us to just go with the flow.
Sit there, be pretty, be
and
quiet.
not be crazy. Yeah. And not be difficult.
No, be crazy. Be difficult.
Literally. And
stick up for yourself.
And it's been hard. Yeah. Or we won't do it the right way because it's all this pent up. I've made some terrible mistakes myself where I've reacted in the complete wrong, unprofessional manner because I was so angry from all this pent up feeling. So I would just say the minute someone is being weird to you, just leave. Because there are so many cool people in this industry that you can collaborate with.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize like how many talented musicians there are out there.
Right.
I
No,
think like
I
people
do.
think it's just like just their little circle,
Yeah.
but I'll do like lives where I listen to people's songs and there's like not one bad one sometimes. Like
That's awesome.
It's crazy. So
I know. And you know what? Those are the people that we do this for,
exactly.
you know? And I would love to talk to you further after this and think of maybe some more ways that we can work together to shed light on teaching people not just about music, but I do feel like navigating the industry as a whole.
100%.
Like it's just so like it requires a lot of wisdom, and I feel like we both have that wisdom now to share with others.
Yeah.
So
I'd love to.
we'll talk. we'll think of something to do. But yeah, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you for having
me. For
me.
sharing your life story, all of your new awesome products. I'm going to put links to where you can follow Seids and buy her products in the description below. And I'll catch you guys next time in another podcast.